Right now, at this very moment, a quantum trigger lies dormant inside you, and the instant you activate it, your entire reality will begin reorganizing itself around a completely different set of possibilities. Most people live their entire lives without ever discovering this trigger exists. They push, they grind, they hustle, they hope, they pray, but nothing fundamentally changes because they're operating from the wrong layer of reality. They're trying to rearrange furniture in a room when what they really need to do is change the blueprint of the house itself. Here's the invisible mistake that keeps millions locked in place. They believe change happens by altering external circumstances first, and then internal experience follows. But that's backwards. That's the exact reversal that keeps you running in circles, exhausting yourself while staying in the same spot. The quantum trigger I'm about to reveal to you operates on a completely different principle, one that science is only beginning to understand, but ancient wisdom has known for millennia. And here's what makes this so urgent. Every single moment, you're not activating this trigger. You're defaulting to an older program, a preset pattern that's been running on autopilot since before you were conscious enough to question it. That pattern wasn't designed by you. It was inherited, absorbed, downloaded from your environment, your culture, your early experiences. And it's creating your current results with ruthless precision. But what if you could interrupt that signal? What if you could introduce a new frequency so powerful that it overrides everything else? That's what this quantum trigger does. And if this resonates with something deep inside you, if you sense there's truth here that could fundamentally alter your trajectory, subscribe to this channel right now, because we don't just talk about transformation here, we activate it. And that activation begins the moment you understand one simple truth. You're not changing your reality by force, you're changing it by frequency. And the frequency shift starts with a trigger most people never learn to pull. Here's the new way of seeing all of this, and it's going to challenge everything you thought you knew about personal transformation. Your reality isn't a fixed structure that exists independently of you. It's a responsive field that's constantly reading your internal state and mirroring it back to you with astonishing accuracy. Think of reality as a quantum field of infinite possibilities, all existing simultaneously, until something collapses those possibilities into one specific experience. And that something is you. More specifically, it's your internal frequency, the electromagnetic signature you're broadcasting every moment of every day through your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your expectations. This isn't metaphysical poetry. This is measurable physics. The HeartMath Institute has documented that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond the body, and this field changes in real time based on your emotional state. When you shift your internal frequency, you're literally broadcasting a different signal into the quantum field. And the quantum field responds by collapsing different possibilities into your experienced reality. This is the quantum trigger, the conscious, intentional shift of your internal frequency to match the reality you want to experience before that reality shows up in physical form. Most people wait for the evidence to feel differently. They say, "Show me the money, and then I'll feel abundant. Show me the relationship, and then I'll feel loved. Show me the success, and then I'll feel worthy." But that's not how the quantum field works. The field doesn't respond to your wishes or your words. It responds to your frequency. And your frequency is determined by the emotional state you're embodying right now, in this present moment, regardless of current circumstances. So the question that's going to carry us through this entire journey is this: what frequency are you broadcasting? And is it the frequency of the reality you say you want? Or is it the frequency of the reality you're trying to escape? Let's break down exactly how this quantum trigger mechanism operates, because when you understand the science behind it, you gain the power to use it deliberately. Imagine your brain as a broadcasting station. Every thought you think generates an electrical impulse. Every emotion you feel creates a chemical cascade. Together, these electrical and chemical signals create what neuroscientist Dr. Candace Pert called your molecules of emotion, neuropeptides. that literally change your biology in real time. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. These internal signals don't stay trapped inside your skull. They create an electromagnetic field that extends into the space around you. And according to quantum physics, that field interacts with the quantum field of potential that surrounds everything. At the quantum level, particles exist in what's called superposition, meaning they exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. The act of observation, which includes your focus, your attention, your emotional charge, collapses the wave function and determines which potential becomes actual. You are collapsing quantum possibilities into material reality every single moment through the frequency you're holding. Dr. Joe Dispenza has demonstrated through brain scans that when people enter elevated emotional states during meditation, matching the feeling of their desired future, their brains literally show the same neural activity as if that future were happening now. The brain doesn't distinguish between a richly imagined experience and an actual physical one, especially when that imagination is charged with authentic emotion. This is why the quantum trigger isn't about visualization alone. It's about embodiment. It's about generating the electromagnetic signature of your desired reality so consistently and so powerfully that you become a walking broadcast tower for that frequency. And the quantum field, which is fundamentally responsive and interconnected, begins to reorganize circumstances, opportunities, people, and events to match that frequency. Those of us who walk this path of conscious creation know this isn't wishful thinking. It's applied quantum mechanics. When you change your frequency, your perception changes. When your perception changes, you notice different things. When you notice different things, you make different choices. When you make different choices, you create different results. It's a cascade effect that starts with one crucial moment, the moment you activate the quantum trigger by consciously choosing a new internal frequency, regardless of what your current external reality shows you. This is where most people stumble, because the external evidence contradicts the internal frequency they're trying to hold, and they collapse back into the old pattern. But here's what you need to understand. There's always a lag time between frequency shift and physical manifestation. The quantum field needs time to reorganize, and your only job during that lag time is to maintain the frequency with unwavering consistency. That's the trigger. That's the mechanism. That's the science. Now let's look at why most people fail to activate this quantum trigger, even when they understand the concept intellectually. They make well-intentioned mistakes that actually reinforce the very frequency they're trying to escape. One of the most common errors is what I call frequency faking. People try to think positive thoughts while their body is still flooded with the chemistry of fear, doubt, and unworthiness. They affirm abundance while clenching with scarcity. They visualize success while their nervous system is still wired for survival mode. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words or your mental images alone. It responds to the coherence between your thoughts, your emotions, and your body's physiological state. If those three elements aren't aligned, you're sending a mixed signal, and mixed signals create mixed results or no results at all. Research in psychoneuroimmunology shows that chronic stress keeps your body in a state of sympathetic nervous system dominance, flooding your system with cortisol and adrenaline. In that state, your cells are literally in protection mode, not growth mode. You can't broadcast the frequency of expansion and possibility while your biology is locked in contraction and threat. Another massive mistake is looking for external validation to confirm that the trigger is working. You shift your frequency for a day or two, then immediately check your bank account, your inbox, your relationship status, looking for proof. And when the proof doesn't appear instantly, you conclude that it's not working. You drop the frequency and you go right back to the old pattern. This is like planting a seed, digging it up the next day to check if it's growing, then replanting it, then digging it up again. You're interrupting the process before it has time to complete. Many of us have fallen into this trap because we've been conditioned to expect instant results in a world of instant gratification. But quantum manifestation doesn't work on the timeline of Amazon Prime delivery. It works on the timeline of natural unfolding, which requires trust, patience, and sustained frequency maintenance. There's also a subtler error that trips people up. They try to activate the quantum trigger from a place of lack, trying to fill a hole, trying to fix what's broken, trying to prove they're worthy. But the quantum field doesn't respond to desperation or neediness. It responds to wholeness, to sufficiency, to the frequency of already having what you desire. When you're reaching for something to complete yourself, you're broadcasting incompleteness. And incompleteness attracts more experiences of incompleteness. This is why so many people work so hard on manifestation techniques, but continue to manifest the same frustrating patterns. They're using the right tools with the wrong frequency underneath. Take a breath with me right now, because I need you to hear this clearly. None of what I just described means you've been doing it wrong. None of it means you're broken or incapable or somehow deficient. It simply means you were operating with incomplete information about how the quantum trigger actually functions. And that changes everything. When you realize the issue wasn't your effort, your intention, or your worthiness, but simply the mechanics of the process, a tremendous weight lifts. You move out of self-blame and into self-empowerment. You move out of frustration and into understanding. And that shift itself is a frequency upgrade. Many of us experience profound relief when we finally understand that we're not fighting against reality. We're learning to work with it according to its actual operating principles. You're not trying to force something to happen through sheer willpower. You're learning to align with the natural laws that govern manifestation at the quantum level. This is so much easier than what you've been attempting. It's not about more effort, it's about more coherence. It's not about pushing harder, it's about tuning more precisely. And if you're feeling this shift happening inside you right now, if something is opening up, leave a like on this video. When you do that, you're not just helping the algorithm, you're amplifying this message, so it reaches other people who are stuck in those same well-intentioned mistakes, people who need to hear that there's a clearer path, a more aligned approach. You're part of a growing community that's waking up to these quantum principles, and every small action, every like, every share sends ripples through that field. So go ahead and like it now, and let's keep moving forward together. I want you to pause here and ask yourself something important. What frequency have you been broadcasting most consistently? Not what you wish you were broadcasting, not what you try to broadcast during your 5 minutes of morning meditation, but what you're actually embodying throughout the majority of your waking hours. What's the underlying emotional tone of your days? Is it anticipation or anxiety? Is it trust or control? Is it openness or defense? Just observe this without judgment. You don't need to fix it right now. You don't need to have all the answers. Simply notice, because awareness itself begins to shift the pattern. Those of us who are on this path of awakening know that transformation starts the moment we stop running from the truth and start looking at it with clear eyes. And here's another question worth sitting with. If your current reality is a perfect mirror of your past frequency, what would you need to embody today to create a different tomorrow? Not what you need to do, but what you need to become. What frequency would you need to hold so consistently that it becomes your new baseline? Let that question work on you. Let it simmer. Because the quantum trigger we've been talking about, the one that's waiting to be activated, it's tied to your willingness to embody a frequency that doesn't yet have external evidence supporting it. That's the leap, that's the edge, and that's exactly what separates those who transform their reality from those who keep recycling the same experiences year after year. Now let's get into the practical application, because understanding without implementation creates nothing. If you want to activate this quantum trigger and sustain it long enough to see your reality shift, there are specific practices you can start using immediately. These aren't complicated, they don't require hours, but they do require consistency and genuine emotional engagement. The first practice is what I call the frequency calibration exercise. Every morning, before you pick up your phone, before you check your messages, before you step into the demands of your day, sit quietly for 5 minutes and ask yourself this. What does the version of me who already has what I desire feel like? Not think like, feel like. What's the texture of that emotional state? Is it calm confidence? Is it quiet joy? Is it relaxed certainty? Identify the feeling with precision, then breathe into it. Let your body start generating the chemistry of that state. Your heart rate will shift, your muscles will relax or energize accordingly, your facial expression will change. This is the quantum trigger beginning to activate. You're training your system to hold a new frequency before the day's circumstances try to impose the old one. The second practice is evidence tracking, but not the way most people do it. Instead of looking for big external proof that your reality is shifting, start noticing tiny, subtle changes in how you perceive things, in the opportunities that show up, in the conversations that happen, in the internal shifts you experience. Keep a simple log, just 1 or 2 sentences a day. Today I noticed, today I felt, today this small thing happened that matches my desired frequency. This practice does 2 things. It trains your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, to start noticing evidence of the new pattern. And it builds momentum and faith in the process, which keeps you from collapsing back into doubt. People who are applying these principles consistently report that within 2 to 3 weeks, they start seeing undeniable synchronicities, unexpected opportunities, and internal shifts that feel completely different from their old patterns. This isn't magic. It's the natural result of sustained frequency coherence. The third practice is interruption and redirection. Throughout your day, whenever you catch yourself defaulting to the old frequency, whether it's worry, frustration, comparison, or any other low-frequency state, pause. Don't judge it, don't fight it, just acknowledge it. Then consciously redirect. Ask yourself, what would the version of me living my desired reality be focusing on right now? How would that version of me be responding to this situation? Then make one small choice from that frequency. Maybe it's a different thought. Maybe it's a different action. Maybe it's simply a shift in your body posture or breathing. The goal isn't perfection, it's practice. Every time you interrupt the old pattern and redirect to the new frequency, you're literally rewiring neural pathways and reinforcing the quantum trigger. Over time, the new frequency becomes more automatic than the old one. That's when the external reality starts shifting noticeably and rapidly. Here's something crucial you need to understand going forward. You will slip. There will be days when you forget entirely about frequency, when old patterns take over, when circumstances trigger you right back into the survival mode you thought you'd transcended. And that doesn't mean you failed. That doesn't mean the quantum trigger stopped working. That doesn't mean you're back at square one. It means you're human. And transformation isn't a straight line. It's a spiral. You'll revisit the same challenges, the same fears, the same doubts, but each time from a higher level of awareness. The real difference between people who successfully shift their reality and people who give up isn't that the successful ones never stumble. It's how quickly they realign when they do. Those of us walking this path together understand that progress isn't measured by perfection, it's measured by recovery speed. Can you notice you've dropped the frequency and choose to reactivate the quantum trigger within hours instead of days? Within minutes instead of hours? That's growth. That's mastery. Every spiritual teacher, every quantum physicist exploring consciousness, every person who has successfully transformed their life from the inside out will tell you the same thing. The journey includes resistance, setbacks, and moments of doubt. That's not a bug in the system, that's a feature. Those moments are testing the authenticity of your new frequency. Are you holding it because it's trendy, or because you've genuinely embodied it? The universe, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, will present circumstances that challenge your new frequency to see if it's real. And when you maintain it anyway, when you reactivate that quantum trigger even when every external factor tells you it's not working, that's when the breakthrough happens. So expect the challenges. Welcome them. Use them as opportunities to strengthen your frequency coherence. Our community knows this deeply. Transformation is a practice, not a destination. And every moment you choose alignment over reaction, you're activating that quantum trigger more powerfully. So here's what I want you to do right now. Something small, but symbolically powerful. When this video ends, I want you to make a declaration, silently or out loud, that marks this moment as a turning point. It could be something like, I am activating my quantum trigger now. I am the frequency of my desired reality. Or, I choose to broadcast a new signal starting today. Choose words that resonate with what you felt during this video. Make it personal, make it real, make it yours. And every time you remember throughout your day, repeat that declaration. Feel it in your body. Let it recalibrate your electromagnetic field. This is more than a mental exercise. It's an anchor point, a stake in the ground that says something fundamental has shifted here. And remember that question we started with? What frequency are you broadcasting? Now you know. Now you have the awareness, the understanding, and the practical tools to consciously choose. And the only factor that determines whether this quantum trigger activates powerfully in your life isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's choice. It's awareness. It's the decision to hold a frequency that matches your desired reality before that reality has manifested in form. You already have everything you need to do this. The quantum field is already responsive. The trigger is already built into your system. All that's required now is activation through consistent practice and authentic embodiment. So, come down to the comments and share. What's your declaration? What did you learn in this video that you're going to apply immediately? What frequency are you choosing to broadcast from this moment forward? When you put it into words, when you share it publicly, you anchor it even deeper into your consciousness and into the collective field of everyone watching this. The identity you need to adopt to sustain this quantum reality shift is simple. You are not a passive receiver of circumstances. You are an active broadcaster of frequency. You are not waiting for life to change so you can feel differently. You are changing your frequency so life can reorganize itself accordingly. And this identity isn't something you achieve once and it's done. It's something you choose moment by moment, thought by thought, emotion by emotion. Every time you consciously activate this quantum trigger, you're reinforcing this new identity. Every time you catch yourself in an old frequency and redirect, you're strengthening it. Every time you maintain your chosen state despite contradictory external evidence, you're embodying it more fully. The quantum trigger is active in you right now. It's always been there. It was never broken. It was just dormant, waiting for you to understand how to use it. And this journey doesn't end with this video. It deepens, it expands, it unfolds into new layers of understanding and application. If you're new to this channel, there are entire playlists waiting for you that dive deeper into quantum manifestation, neuroplasticity, frequency alignment, and the practical science of reality creation. And if this message speaks to your path, if you feel like you belong in this space of conscious transformation, subscribe now. Because we don't stay on the surface here. We go deep. We activate. We transform. Each new video is another step on this staircase of evolution, another piece of the puzzle being revealed, another quantum trigger being activated. You're not alone in this work. The next level of your reality shift is waiting for you. Activate the trigger. It was always yours to use.